So I'm going to look now at dividing decimals, well, any number by a single digit. Okay, and you can see this first one is not a decimal, 124 divided by 8, but I'm going to get a decimal as my answer. So I thought I'd do this first. Now we're going to use the same algorithm we use for whole numbers, which is like a shed. So see if you can't remember how to divide a whole number. You might want to have a look at that first. So I've got 124 here, and I'm dividing that by 8. Remember, the 8 goes on in the sum, the 8's on the right, but in the shed, in the division algorithm, it comes on the left. Okay? So how many 8's go into 1? None. So bring that one forward. How many 8's go into 12? 1, with 4 left over. Now, how many 8's go into 44? Well, it's 5, and I've got 4 left over. Now, you can see I've got kind of nowhere left to go. So instead of having 124 as my number, that's the same as doing 124.0, 0.00 divided by 8. They're all the same. Okay, so I'm going to add in my decimal point column and just put a 0 in there. So making sure that point's nice and big, nice and clear. Okay, and then let's just go back. So I was asking how many 8's go into 44. Well, that's 5 with 4 left over. Now I'm asking how many 8's go into 40, that is 5. And you can see I get an exact answer here, okay, of 15.5. Okay, I maybe went a bit overboard with that decimal point there, okay. But you can see we don't need to have a remainder or have a leftover. All we need to do is change the number from 124 to 124.0 or 0.00 or 0.000. They're all the same number, okay. So that's how you do that. Let's do some more little examples, okay? So here I'm doing 37.8 divided by 4. So 37.8, and you can see I'm using square paper and making sure I've got a big space for my decimal point. Okay, that's dead clear, that is there. Okay, so see for this one, I'm going to ask how many 4's go into 3? None. So how many 4's go into 37? That's 9 with 1 left over. Okay. How many 4's in 18? That's 4 with 2 left over. So I can just stick a 0, like adding 0, this is adding 0 hundredths on here. It makes no difference. Okay. 37.8 is the same as 37.80 or 00. It doesn't matter how many zeros I add on there. It's all the same. Okay, so I'm just keep adding zeros as I go. And wait until I don't have a remainder anymore. Okay, so how many 4's go into 18 was the last one we did. That's 4 with 2 left over. How many 4's in 20? That's 5. And I've got no remainders now, so I can stop there. Okay, and my answer is 9.45. Okay, let's do a couple more to show you kind of some things that can happen. So here I've got 43.1 divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to have 3 going into 43.1. Just going to put that point in advance so I don't forget it. How many 3's go into 4? 1 with 1 left over. How many 3's in 13? That's 4 with 1 left over. How many 3's go into 11? 3 with 2 left over. I'm just going to put that 0 in. How many 3's go into 20? That's 6 with 2 left over. How many 3's in 20? 6 with 2 left over. You can maybe spot a pattern here. As I do more zeros, I'm getting how many 3's go into 20 every single time. The answer is always 6 with 2 left over. So this is going to keep going forever and ever and ever. This is called a recurring decimal. So I've got 14.366666666 going on forever is my answer. Okay. A way to write that is 14.36. And I just put dots over the 6. Okay, you might see it even as just one dot at the 6. Okay, so that's that. And let's have a look at this one. Now this is saying give your answer to 3 decimal places. That's kind of telling me that this is going to be, it's kind of a hint it's going to be a long decimal. Now, if I'm going to round it to 3 decimal places, I want to know what it is to 4 decimal places so that I can then round. Okay, so let's make sure I've got 4 decimal places in here. So I've got 7 going into 5.8, and then I want to make sure I've got 4 decimal places. And if I'm only going to round it off to 3 decimal places, it doesn't matter what comes after that. Okay, so let's go through it. How many 7s go into 5? None. With 5 left over. How many 7s in 58? That's 8 with 2 left over. How many 7s go into 20? Well, that's 2 with 6 left over. How many 7s go into 60? That's again 8 with 4 left over. How many 7s go into 40? That is 5, and then I would have 3 left over, but I'm not even going to bother doing that because I've got to where I can round it to 3 decimal places. Okay, so my answer to 3 decimal places, I've got a 5 after where I'm going to round it, so that 8's going to round up to 9. So I've got 0.829 to 3 decimal places. Okay, and that is how you divide decimals by a single digit.